Hello, 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 legends. I gotta find some music for today's live stream. Let's kick things off. Bitcoin is currently just chopping around. And if you can hear me well, let me know. Purchase Media, hello, my man. Waiting for BlackRock and Sailor to both hit 1 million coins. Asset under management. Time-lapse King 3D. Man, it's been a while. I don't think you've joined the live streams. I've seen your comments on the YouTube channel. Let me know. Can you guys hear me? Can everyone hear me? Let me find some tunes, of course. Currently, Bitcoin is just chopping around, but I am looking for a new trade setup. I am indeed looking for a new trade setup. Can you guys hear me? Please confirm. Hey there, great timing. I'm making that Bluffin account to enter your group. Awesome. Great to hear, legends. Great to hear. Home Mackay. I'm going to go crazy with these same tunes, especially if I continue doing the long live streams. So the idea is to find some new music. Right now, at this point in time, I want Bitcoin to go lower to justify a long. Alejandro Garcia, my man, are you Jewish? No, I am not. Loud and clear. All right, so let's take a look at this price action because this was a nice move from the low. And in yesterday's live stream, we identified. Hello, I'm seeing some familiar faces. I might get a Bluffin too. I might get a Bluffin account too. I have around 300K to invest. Vision Pulsed Fatboy, awesome. First and foremost, I would try to avoid talking about how much you have to invest in public. But if you are, you can reach out to me on Telegram, and I can get you some really solid fees on Bluffin if you end up depositing and you trade with me. And of course, you get access to the group. So just message me, and we'll be good to go. I also have a priority folder, so I'll be answering your queries sooner than most people if you're trading with more capital. All right, so here's the deal with Bitcoin. In yesterday's live stream, we were looking for longing opportunities, and I have to be honest, nothing has changed from that perspective. My next trade on Bitcoin is likely to be a long, and if you're wondering why with this kind of dumpy price action, it's because, in my opinion, based on what we're seeing, the probabilities favor a more significant move to the upside, and I'll explain why. But first and foremost, if you tuned into yesterday's live stream, I pointed out that this zone is the zone that I would be looking to effectively go long. Now, some of you in the live stream took this trade because we swept some key levels. And what are those levels? We have the value area high of this range. We pointed this out as a potential bounce zone, strong zone, but we also swept this low, this high, I should say, right at around $76,000. That's significant because you can see the reaction that we got the first time that we tapped into this level. And so the bulls really want to hold on to here. This was a good longing setup. However, I didn't take it. I didn't take it because I was a little bit greedy with the entry. I want to see us tap into a little bit lower, especially as some people caught some longs. So where lower? What am I discussing here? The bottom of the bull market support band. This is found at around $75,700. And the anchored VWAP, which is down all the way to 75K. I'm telling you right now, if we hit this zone, I will probably enter a little bit of a bigger trade on the stream. Of course, I always share my trades within my community. That's the priority for me. But this is the zone that I'm looking for. Can we just start an expansive move from here and hold on? Yes, it's possible. However, you can see that there is some uncertainty here on the 4-hour. We're just chopping around and chopping around. And so I would rather a sweep of the lows. The liquidity also would suggest that we can sweep those lows. Like if we can grab these lows just below 75K down to 75K, it's good enough for me to take a risk on a new Bitcoin long setup. So for now, though, as I shared in my previous live stream, this was again going into the end of last week. Some live streams I don't take trades, some live streams I do. It depends on if I see an opportunity. I'm up around 14K on my Bitcoin short, where we had that Clarity Act pump. Everyone got excited again, and I've realized more profits on this trade around $18,000. This was shared within the live stream as well. Then I am holding my bigger swing Bitcoin short. This one, I'm not planning on taking profits for a little bit of time. I'm up currently around 55K on this trade, and it's just chopping around. Zcash, though, would you look at that? I'm currently down just under 10K on my Zcash short. So this is what I was talking about. Price goes in the negative, price goes in the positive. It is what it is. That's part of trading. I'm not closing this trade yet, though. Zcash's performance and hype, as a matter of fact, has been pretty solid, but I'm still holding my trades. And this is the thing. When you size into different positions, it's okay to hold in drawdown. I'm not going to come on stream every single time and say, guys, look, all my trades are in positive. Sometimes there's a little bit of drawdown. And I should have actually anticipated this with Zcash. The reason I say this is because over the course of the weekend, it actually dropped down to 485, which is well below my entry. And I should have taken a little bit of profits because it dumped more than the global crypto market. Then we got that bounce right back up. Still think that it plays out, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be holding the trade. But I just thought I'd share this with you guys. So this is how we're doing right now. There you go. So right now, 76,700. What's going to happen today? What I would really like to see is a push lower. I am not interested in trading this zone. I want to sweep of these lows, and I will likely ladder into a position even before the anchored VWAP. To me, sweeping these lows again would be ideal because we can see clearly that there is liquidity right here, and it's by far the highest cluster. So let's be patient. Yusuf Geo, I never said I'm not sure if it will play out. You guys are silly. It's funny, whenever I have trades in profit, everyone's happy. Whenever some trades are in losses and I'm still holding the trade, everyone just starts freaking out. I never said that. I hold my trades for a long period in this market. And again, I have my invalidations. If I lose on a trade, I lose on a trade and I move on to the next trade. That's how you trade the market. Not much else to say, really, from that perspective. So let's see. So where are we at now? Where are we at with Bitcoin? Give me something, man. Give me something, because otherwise, I'm just gonna sit in my positions. Close that. How's everyone doing today? I have a feeling that today's live stream will have maybe a little bit less viewers, which is actually good because it's better for trades when there's less viewers. I think I'm going to take a live trade today. If we can sweep those levels that I highlighted. I really want to see something like that. It's so sideways, bro. Guys, come on. I know we have this brain rot from TikTok, but let's be real. Have a little bit of patience. Most of the time, Bitcoin is moving sideways. And then the big moves happen after a period of consolidation, which is why I said incoming volatility on my thumbnail. Have a little bit of patience. You and Crypto Archie are the only true, very real traders on YouTube. I think there's a couple others, right? There's surely a couple others, but I do appreciate the comment. Thank you, Global Investor 9440. So let's see, guys. Remember what we discussed in my previous stream. You know, you create a range, you lose the range, you back test it, not able to reclaim, and then what happens is you drop, and now we're really trying to hold on here. I think a lot of traders are eagerly anticipating the next big move for Bitcoin, as am I. So I just want to wait and see how this plays out, because right now it looks like we're just effectively consolidating and there's not much else to say. I hope we don't have boring price action today. I would absolutely love for us to sweep the lows, because then that would be a potential long trigger. But for now, if there's nothing to do, there's nothing to do, right? Poor Meep waiting. We are pumping from here. This level is holding. What's up, buddy? Thank you for your videos. Thank you. I appreciate the support. You guys think we pump or dump? Do we pump first? Guys, we have tons of liquidity to the upside. I wanted to bring this to your attention. And this is one of the reasons why I do think we can get a little bit of relief before likely rolling over. On the 1 day, yes, there are people piling into longs. And this is why I said I would love for us to grab this liquidity first before getting that pump. 7 day, take a look at this. A lot of liquidity stacked up right above where we're currently at. So, you know, I think it's going to be a game of liquidity. I think the market makers are going to target the longs, target the shorts. But I think the outcome and my higher time frame thesis will likely play out. I think Bitcoin will form a new low. So 30 day, you can see there's technically more shorts in the market. And 90 day, there's still more longs. So I want to see us grab some of this before grabbing some of this upside liquidity. So let's see, guys. Let's see. TikTok traders, TikTok indicators. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Everyone has brain rot nowadays. Everyone has brain rot. How low, global investor, how low do you think Bitcoin will go? Guys, pay attention right now, because I don't think I need to talk about this throughout the entire stream, but I mentioned it yesterday. It's been a while since we pulled up this chart. These are my zones for Bitcoin. Again, before I explain my strategy here, please remember that nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm literally just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. Hello, Harshit. So, this is what I think could be playing out for Bitcoin. Oh, one sec. Are we moving lower? Let's see. This is what I think could be playing out for Bitcoin here. I think that we will breach the 60K lows over the course of this year. I think it will require patience, but I do think it will happen. I have Bitcoin exposure from the previous bear market, as I've shared time and time again. So I'm okay if for whatever reason we just skyrocket from here. In fact, I would really like that. But my higher time frame analysis suggests that Bitcoin will be moving lower over the course of this year, and we just have to see what happens in the immediate short term. If I didn't have any Bitcoin exposure whatsoever, I would personally be looking to accumulate maybe even just sub 65K. I do think that ultimately this zone will be hit. And then my giga accumulation zone, keep in mind that I still have some Bitcoin, would be below 50K. I know it sounds crazy, but we've been over the drawdowns and how it can potentially play out in bear markets. And I don't think the drawdown that we've seen is sufficient, especially considering some of the macro factors that we like look at this. Let me just give you an example. So we know, the war between Iran and the US. I don't necessarily think that this plays a huge role in how Bitcoin's going to perform. It's a risk on asset, and therefore I think that over the course of this year, in midterm years, just underperforms. We know this historically. However, the 30-year yield rose to the highest level since 2007. And what comes after 2007? 2008. Then we also have the fact that Iran's new proposal to the US to end the war includes lifting sanctions, releasing frozen assets, paying war reparations, and ending the blockade. I don't think that the US will agree to this. But like I said, I don't think that this has a crazy impact on the price action, to be perfectly honest. More importantly, inflation is just through the roof. And so it's not an environment where we can get those rate cuts. And we discussed this in my previous streams and my previous videos. We're more likely to have rate hikes than rate cuts. And this is, again, not the best of environments. So, with that in mind, and understanding the historical price action of Bitcoin, and the fact that we're currently well above the average here for the midterm years, I think that there's a high probability that Bitcoin moves lower over the course of this year. But in the more immediate short term, given the fact that I am in some decent shorts, my next trade is likely going to be a long if we are to sweep the lows. So I'll keep you updated. Let's see how the price action develops. The stock market is dumping while we hold. I have to be honest, these things take a while to play out. You can see the dollar after last week's bullish close, back above its bull market support band, is continuing to rally a little bit here. And look, it holds until it doesn't. And if stocks just nuke, then we can say bye-bye to Bitcoin, unfortunately. I don't make the rules. Don't shoot the messenger. Tiago Costa. Yesterday I closed my short. I had my fair share of profit. I noticed consolidations, so I got skeptical. Was I correct in my decision? Only time will tell, right? I can't tell you if you were correct in your decision. But what I can say is what I typically do with my shorts is and my longs for that matter, any trades, I take profits to the point where I'm very content with the profits that I took. Then I leave a little bit of the position open all the time. The reason being, you just never know how much deeper we can dump or how much more we can pump if you went long, for example. So I always leave a little bit of a position open. And by a little bit, I mean like it's enough for me to feel very happy if the price continues to go in that direction, but not enough for me to feel catastrophic if I get stopped out at break even. Does that make sense? So we're dumping a little bit here. If stocks continue to dump, Bitcoin will continue to dump. But we're slowly reaching that zone that I've been talking about. I want to see a sweep of these lows. I want to see a sweep of the bull market support band. I want, maybe I won't get, right? The markets have a way of shaking out both sides, and now we see. Now we see. Still short from the previous stream. Very happy with these positions in the markets. I'm up 60K on my Bitcoin short. Similar price action to what we saw yesterday. If stocks just nuke, I'm telling you guys, look how much selling is coming from Coinbase. So honestly, if there's just unlimited selling, the liquidity really doesn't matter. Liquidity is just one part of the confluence. From a risk to reward perspective though, my next trade will be a long. I can already tell you that, especially if we sweep the lows. So let's consider that. I'm already positioned from shorts from higher, right? Hello, everyone. If you haven't already, as we take a look at this dumpy price action for Bitcoin, make sure to go ahead and destroy that like button. There's 240 of you watching and we have 5 likes. That can't be right. Surely that can't be right. If you haven't already, guys, destroy that like button. I'll open the live chat panel as well. Yeah, Gemma Gov, agreed. You got to learn to be happy with your profits. Absolutely. That's the thing. You got to be happy with your profits. So let's see here. Give me a sweep. Give me a sweep. Give me a sweep. Give me a sweep. My higher time frame analysis is still the same. I still think that new lows will be made for Bitcoin. What's up? Not the price of Bitcoin. Can you guys subtly hear the music? Let me know. Hello from Paris, Lionel. Bonjour, ça va? All right, back to the value area high. Give me a sweep of the bull market support band. Come on. Come on. Let's see it. Somewhere around this zone. Sweep up yesterday's liquidity. Sweep up here below the bull market support band. If we go sub 75, I'm in. Like, it's not even like a question for me. I will try to play the bounce. Look at NASDAQ. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to look at NASDAQ to guess that it's dumping. Because when NASDAQ dumps, Bitcoin dumps. When NASDAQ pumps, Bitcoin pumps less in a bear market. Some of you are asking me, man, why do we trade this shitty asset class if we can just be trading stocks? I have an edge in this asset class, right? This is how I make my money. So I'm totally fine with dumpy Bitcoin price action because I make money on the way down and I can also make money on the way up. Greetings from Germany. You're on X and YouTube, but you don't have Insta, right? I have an Insta, but it's not used. And be careful, there's scammers and there's impersonators. I will never DM you and ask you for money. The only DMs that are ever initiated with me are within my Telegram community. And this is if you want to join and see all the trades that I'm sharing with you on the live stream and beforehand, like these trades where I'm up around 64K and I've secured around 300K on my Bitcoin short. This was publicly shared within my group. On my Telegram, if you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join that group. It's where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. It is free because you're trading with your own capital on any of these exchanges down below. Greetings from Germany. I've never been to Germany. I should go one day. Good to see you again, bro. GK Trades. Great to see you again, my man. Let's take a look at what we're seeing here. God, this Coinbase selling is diabolical. And this is in line also with the spot ETFs just doing their thing. Yeah, I would love, guys, I would love to go sub 75. Like, man. Something like this. Like, I actually would love to see something like this. Like a nice over 4. Like 4 risk to reward, 4 for 1. Let's see. You should come here. You heard it live, Germany meetup. Guys, if I decided to do a meetup, would you actually want that? I never understood meetups. I guess some people really like to meet the community and maybe meet myself, but I know a lot of streamers do meetups. But from a scalping perspective, again, this is one of those things where I would move my stop loss to break even pretty fast. Like if we come down here and we get the move, like let's say we trickle down, we sweep up this low, and we grab a lot of the liquidity here, I would look for something like this. And the second that Bitcoin reclaims this recent low, like the value area high at 76.2, if we are to come down here, assuming we do, stop to break even immediately. Because again, I still think that we're entering a downtrending market. So I can try to play the bounces, but protecting your position is crucial. Hello, Matsir. Hello. No, generally, guys, generally, I want to say 99% of my trades are market buy or sell. So market long or short. Generally, I don't use limits that much. Sometimes you can add a couple stink bids if it's a big higher time frame trade. Like I'll give you an example. If Bitcoin, let's say we're in a bear market and I think that the lows can be within a $15,000 range, I would set limits for spot buying, right? But not necessarily entering a leverage trade. Most of my leverage trades are simply done through market, just direct market buy and sell. Holding above the value area high. Someone said that we're going to bounce from here. What are your thoughts, guys? Are we going to sweep up a little bit lower and bounce, or do we get rejected? Start poll. What comes next? Because, guys, we have a lot of liquidity to the upside. We really do. Let's not ignore that. But it's just a matter of... Yeah, Nick Tooney. Honestly, me too. Like, I want to see a dump, but then I want to enter a long. I don't want rejection. I believe we get rejected. Let's see. 79K. So we go 2.5. Then we go 5. 2. What comes next for Bitcoin? All right. Poll is in the chat. What comes next for Bitcoin? I'm used to getting rejected. Guys, it's good to get rejected in life. It is very good. As you build a tolerance for rejection, and then ultimately you will end up succeeding. I still think we have some upside down. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so a lot of us think 74, 79. Okay, it's pretty spot on. I'll show this. 41% think 79K first. 59% think 74. Okay, so we're I would like to see 74 or below 75, even if it's just a wick, to sweep up some local longs and then get that more aggressive move to the upside. So let's see. So when you clean out the Telegroup, Robbie. Oh yeah, my Telegram group. When do I clean it out? I clean it out regularly. So now I have a team that actually takes care of this for me. And they message people on my behalf. If you're not actively trading and you just, because here's the thing, guys, a lot of people will join my group, they'll sign up to Bluffin, they'll deposit $500, but they're trading with $50,000 elsewhere on another exchange. And then they use my analysis and they use the free things that I share in the group, and they literally just keep the balance at 500 on the other exchange. So basically, those members are removed. It's just not fair for other people. A lot of free resources in that group, and it's free. It's a free group because you're trading with your own money. That's it's the smallest expectation to trade with your own money on an exchange. Genesis, but it sucks. So when you clean out my group, do you base it on trading performance? No, not at all. Not at all. It's based on minimum thresholds. So make sure that you hold the minimum and that you're actively trading, and that's it. And again, if you get removed from the group, there's no big deal. I mean, if you ever want to rejoin, you can. You just have to meet the criteria. I'd like sweep of 74.8. Yeah, me too. Padrao, 25 Padrao. That's ideally what I would want to see. Nick Tooney, do you have at least $500 there constantly or just deposit? You need to maintain a balance of $500 to get access to my group. It's your own capital that you're trading with. The more annoying part is, like I said, the members that deposit that and then they go and they trade elsewhere with hundreds of thousands of dollars or something like that. Those members end up getting removed from the group because it's not fair for the other people that joined in the way that they were supposed to. In 2022, Bitcoin did not sweep the bull market support band. Yeah, but Ada Love, there's other scenarios, right? There's other scenarios where we held on at the bull market support band. There's other scenarios in other bear markets, right? We're not just comparing to 2022. From a probabilistic perspective, it makes a lot of sense to get a bounce from around this zone. But could I be wrong? Yeah, of course. And again, guys, if I'm wrong, I'm more than happy because I'm holding my swing shorts in this market, right? So not much I can say. Nick Tooney, no, that's not how it works. Like you're given, like we check probably every few weeks, even every like a month, let's say. So you got time to build it back up or redeposit. Sweet. I'm trading on Bluffin. Nice. 75. I would love this, guys. I would love it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Give me a sweep of the lows. Give me a sweep of the lows. Drop down to at least 75.7. Bitcoin not dropping is bad or good? What do you mean? Bitcoin is dropping. Look at it. Look at the chart. I want to go long. I want to go long. Stablecoin dominance increasing, which is my thesis as well, that this will just continue. Holding above the value area high. Let's see what traders are just dumping. There's not many longs entering here, which might suggest that we bounce. I would really prefer if we didn't. It would be absolutely lovely if we just take the lows at least. I might attempt... no. Because the liquidity, I'm not going to go long if we sweep these lows. I want to see at least 75.7. Sean Bulldog, this time next week, it's going to be 69,000. It's possible. It's possible. Habib Kalamuni 6272. Hi, Matsir. Have you ever noticed any relationship between Bitcoin and gold? I noticed gold fell and Bitcoin followed immediately after 10 minutes or so. Yes and no. Because, yeah, sometimes it happens, but I haven't noticed a strong enough relationship for me to justify trading it in that way. How much would you be risking on a long if we get the sweep, Alejandro? Probably 1%. Z Denzo 1. I've taken 70% profits on my short swing trade. Is that too much to be considered swing trading? What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand your question too much. You can take as much profit as you want. That doesn't change whether or not it's swing trading. I think Bitcoin is more correlated to NASDAQ than gold. Agreed, Nick Tooney. So this is the thing. In our lifetime, I like the idea of Bitcoin kind of holding as this digital gold. I really would like that, but I don't think we're at those stages yet. And it currently acts as a leveraged tech stock. If we sweep, how high do you think Bitcoin will bounce up to? That's a good question. So if we do get, but now we're value area high. It's not making it easy. This is a potential entry here, guys. It is a potential entry. But I'm not in a trade at this point. I still want to sweep lower, but sometimes the market doesn't give you what you want. Guys, remember, if you're looking for a great platform to trade, I have Weeks down below where you can earn up to $30,000. I have 2Bit, you can earn up to 60K. And Bluffin has a fantastic promotion. Bluffin is my go-to exchange. I'm currently shorting Bitcoin on there, up around 62K. And all the links are in the description down below. And if you sign up, you also get access to my free group where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. Drop more. Drop more. Do we expect volatility? There are results coming out today. Yeah, it's the Fed minutes today. I would be okay with Bitcoin dropping more, guys. I really would. I'm in my swing shorts, right? And I'm in my scalp short. But based on the liquidity, like, I would also like to see a sweep of liquidity to the downside and get a bounce. Everyone thinks that this was it. Then maybe we bounce all the way up to 80K. That would be awesome. But sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes we just nuke. And that's why I've been vocal about maintaining swing shorts in the market, because sometimes you miss it. And then if price just nukes, well, you're annoyed that you didn't manage to get into the trade. Yeah, Raga and Rhythms, 50% don't want cuts this year, Fed members. Yep, but it makes sense. Inflation is out of control. Inflation is still sticky, and so it's not an environment conducive to rate cuts. Oh yeah, FOMC minutes are tomorrow. My apologies. My apologies, guys. Market makers will not make it so easy for shorters to make money. I actually agree with you. I know you've been bullish on the channel because I remember you saying 90K before 60K. I agree. I agree with you on that note. Market makers will not make it super easy for the shorters. There's so much liquidity now getting piled up that I actually think that we can squeeze higher. Do, 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 do. Nick Tooney, that's a great observation. It does look very similar. And like I said, if this support starts backtesting as resistance, then that could fuel the move lower. I'm going to stay on stream. I'm going to stay on stream, guys. I might require some patience. Might require some patience. I'll be on here at least a 3-hour live stream today. At least. So let's see how the price action develops. Hi, Matsir. I'm in your group since 2 months and I already learned a lot from you. I am new to trading, but I made some nice profits already. Absolutely amazing to hear, and I love to share that with everyone else. Awesome. Awesome, guys. If you want to join the group that Odin Stefel is referring to, it's free. You have the first link in the description down below. The way that it's free is because you're trading with your own money. So if you trade with $1,000, if you trade with $500, if you trade with $100,000, it doesn't matter. As long as you've signed up with one of these links down below, you can get access to that group. Typically, I use this one, Blofin. But if you can't access Bluffin, 2bit, Weeks, Velto, BTCC, like all of these are solid options. So you can see here, I'm currently trading on Velto, and my scalp short is on Weeks. Yeah, make a meetup on Portugal. We are crypto friendly, and bring Andy also. Let's see, maybe we sort something out like that. Assuming you get an entry on this potential long, how wide is your zone? Where would your stop or invalidation be? My invalidation would probably be something along the lines of a 4-hour candle close below the anchored VWAP, which is down to 75. So it would, yeah, that would be my invalidation. 4-hour candle close below this level. And I would be targeting basically $80,000. And that sounds crazy, but the reason I say this is because of the built up liquidity. Let's go 7-day. You know what? No, my target would be, yeah, just under $80,000. I actually think, based on what I'm seeing now and how shorts have piled in, what could potentially occur is maybe we don't go all the way up to here anymore. Maybe we get up to just under 80, grab this liquidity, and then potentially roll over. It's all a game of probabilities, right? But that's what I would be targeting. So that would look something like this. Let's just call it 80 for simplicity purposes, Alejandro. It would be something like this. So 4-hour close below here. It would be somewhere along the lines of a 4-for-1 risk to reward. You pointed out that NASDAQ is currently more correlated than gold. How do you view the inverse correlation? Insights and analysis. Honestly, I would have to look into that. Do you think May will end up being a red month? Yes, I do. I do think that May will end up being a red month. And let's zoom out a little bit more as this price action develops, just to give you my insights as to why I think May could be a red month for Bitcoin. So let's just, I think we can all agree. I mean, I hope so. I think a lot of people think maybe we're not in a bear market, but I'd like to say that we can agree that we're in a bear market. So let's assume we all agree. In bear markets, we never really have 3 green months in a row. I don't think it's ever happened. So if we assume that this is a bear market, 1, 2, and now we're flipping red. If we take a look at the previous bear markets, let's go back to 2022. Sorry if I should not be using the CME chart for this. One moment. Bitstamp is good. Actually, are we dumping more? Nice. So, monthly, we're currently red. Previous bear market, 1, 2, red. Done. Off to the races to the downside. Then we have 2018. Couldn't even get 2. Then we have 2014. 2, down. Yeah. If you ask me if the month will close red, my answer would be yes. I think that the month will close red for Bitcoin. So I'm saying it here on stream, 315 viewers. I think the month will probably close red for Bitcoin because we've never had 3 green months in a row in bear markets. And right now Bitcoin is dropping. I have to be honest, Alejandro, you were asking me about my percentage of portfolio. At most, I would do 1%, like at most. But I'll let you know if I decide to take the trade, as always. Come on, dump it. Chad Manley, originally joined your group through BTCC and just switched to Bluffin. Do you need to know to stay in your group? If you did that, no worries. Just please message me in the DMs and say that you switched to Bluffin and share your UID, and then you're good to go. A lot of people prefer Bluffin, and a lot of people have been transitioning to Bluffin. But no worries, just let me know. The reason you have to let me know is just because if my team and I assume that you're on BTCC, and then we see, okay, well, you're no longer active on the exchange, then we might just think, okay, he's no longer trading and he's no longer using the resources in the group, so we'll remove him. But yeah, please just send me a DM. You know where to find me. Thanks, brother. Your insight and attention to the chat is always much appreciated. My pleasure, Alejandro. Sometimes I not regret doing the not doing live streams sooner, but I think it's nice because I get to engage with everyone here. Now, the next step for me in terms of how I produce content is probably going to be exclusive live streams for my group only. So this is why I want to make sure that the whole group cleanup process is going well, because I know there's some members that signed up and they just take advantage of my free insights and they're literally not even trading on any of these exchanges. So after I basically kick out all of those members from my group, then I may consider doing some longer live streams within my community as well. I'll leave like unlisted YouTube live streams and I'll just share the link in the community, and then I can engage with you guys more. Then the more interesting one is I will probably do that for whales. So for people that are trading with $50,000, $100,000, $1 million, and only do a live stream for the whales as well. But it takes a lot of time and attention to do these things. And so for now, I think it's good to just start with a generic live stream. Yes, you can indeed. Kurt de Groot, can you open a long and short simultaneously on Bluffin? Absolutely, you can. So the way to do it, which I shared in the last live stream, is if you go here on the top right, you go settings, position, one-way mode, you have to click hedge mode. Now the caveat to this is you have to click hedge mode when you don't have active positions open. Right now, I'm technically in one-way mode, which basically means that I have to close these trades, which I don't want to do, to be able to activate hedge mode. So have no trades open, then you can do it. Otherwise, you can open up a sub account within your Bluffin account, right? And you also have the option to just use another exchange if you want to. But if you're enjoying Bluffin, I would recommend just keeping it all on Bluffin. It's easier. So you can make a sub account on Bluffin too. Kamal Shah 5000. Well, when I started it, my whales were 10K, right? I have a couple of members in the group that are trading with over $1 million, and those guys I pay most attention to naturally. But, you know, I don't want to do a live stream for one person, like really, right? At the end of the day, the group is free because you're trading with your own capital. You can do what you want to do with your own capital. But yeah, again, the more you're trading with, the more attention I give you. That's just how it works. Just makes the most sense. Stream for group would be awesome. Yeah, man, I will do it at some point. Hey, man, I live in Europe, and do the exchange that you mentioned work there because they have a lot of regulations? I believe so, but don't quote me on that. There's a lot of options, so I would recommend that you just kind of go through them and see what works for you. But I would probably say so. Iozu, I do think that oil will likely remain elevated over the course of this year. So, Daniel, I'll join your whale stream, just need 1 mil. 8 mil enough? Kamal, if you have 8 mil and you're trading with me, please let me know because I'll literally just give you the best possible bonuses. But I know there's a lot of trolls. No, I don't have a Discord. I do not have a Discord, guys. So if there's a Discord, please know that it's a scam. I don't have a Discord. I used to do a Discord with Andy and Devolt from Mindpillar Markets, but that's no longer operational. Bluffin works. Yeah, Owen Dixon, great stuff. It does work. All right, guys, so let's see how this hourly candle closes. If we can close like this below, keep in mind, below the value area high, then that is ultimately positive for momentum to the downside. The shorts will be printing, but I am looking for a long. I'm looking for a long. I think that ultimately the market will bleed lower to make it abundantly clear, but I am looking for a long. It does not make sense to jump into shorts when we're potentially at support once more. Guys, if you have any other questions about my group and how things are ran, I'm more than unhappy to address them because I saw there's quite a lot of questions. So since we're on that topic, as we wait for the price action to develop, just let me know, and I'm happy to guide you guys. Thank you very much, Ethiopia Bitcoin. My pleasure. When 75K hits, I'll be jumping for joy, then realize we still want lower. I should be working, but I'm watching this instead. Teehee. Well, maybe you can do both at the same time. I'm trading with the 200K wallet, but just not open to keeping all my money on one exchange. I mean, if you want to, Kamal Shah 5008. Could you tell me your Telegram handle, my man? Because now we are. I have to say, my group is just completely flooded with messages, especially my Telegram overall. So it probably got lost. My apologies, man. My apologies. Dude, I tried to join. Yeah, my apologies. I'm trading with Kyria Gami. I'm trading with 200K wallet, but just not open to keeping. Yeah, you don't have to put all of it on the exchange. Maybe you could just put half and trade with it on there, and then you're good to go. Let's finally go. Finally back in profit. Good to see you, broski. Loving the regular lives while I'm at work. Are you guys all just watching me while you're at work? Guys, make sure you're working. Is it better to use a sub account on PC and keeping main account on iPhone for better security? Asking because I have been hacked more. Axiom while trading memes, so naturally browser base is a little scary. I understand where you're coming from. I have personally not had any issues with any hacks and stuff like that, and I think it's okay to have them on both. Usually, I have to say centralized exchanges, and this is the thing. A lot of people, you can dislike centralized exchanges, but their security measures are typically better. It's harder to get hacked. Um, just finished my work, came to a cafe, sipping my coffee and watching a stream. Awesome. Trading is my work, bro. Nice. Nice, man. Well, I got exams in 2 weeks. Got to lock in if that counts as work. Yeah, lock in. All right, guys. Now we're trying to hold above the value area high. Do we get another squeeze higher? I want to see a big push lower to justify entering along. I'm going to target, I'm doing 75.7. Hi, MBC. I'm guessing you're saying CBM. How about how about prop nest to the 500 required amount? Yes, I talked about this. I will offer a prop firm option. I've explored an option and now it's. How is Zcash doing? Back to entry again. Yeah, exactly. I talked about this right at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, Gemma Gov, that's fair, but again, I personally trust Bluffin with basically like 2 mil. So again, I haven't had any issues with them. And I like them because I know the team well. Would 20K get me premium guidance? That's like the smaller priority folder. And guys, premium guidance does not mean I'm giving you financial advice. I'm not allowed to give you financial advice. I wish I could, but I can't. So it just gives you access to that priority folder that I have on my Telegram. I used to answer everyone's messages, but now I have literally thousands of people reaching out to me regularly. So I only really answer people that are trading with a little bit more capital, and the rest of the updates are in my group. The group remains my priority, but picture it like this. If you're talking to a friend, you're texting a friend, that's essentially how I treat some of the members that are trading with a little bit more capital. So if I go on a walk, I'll go through my whale folders and I'll answer people. If I get your message, it's like a buddy of yours is texting you, I'll reach out. Was long okay. What's the I don't know. Stop growing, bro. Maybe it's a noise I'm making with my mouth. My apologies. I just want those Blofin VIP benefits. Yeah, those I can get you for sure, depending on the capital you're trading with. Normally, it requires hundreds of millions in trading volume, but I've negotiated with them to make it literally if you're just depositing like 50K or 100K or more, I can get you those bonuses that would otherwise require so much volume on the exchange. Okay, so we close the hourly candle above the value area high. Are we going to sweep the lows? That's what I would like to see at the bare minimum, but mainly 75.7. We looking nuke or pumpy? We're looking mid because we are nuking right now, or we're dumping, but I'm looking for a long. 62% of you guys think that 74 comes before 79. So maybe that means 79 comes first. Guys, if you're enjoying the live stream so far, make sure to smash that like button. 147, not too shabby. Awesome stuff, guys. Let's destroy that like button. We got this. We looking sidewaysy. Swept the value area high again. Is this a new long entry? Did I miss another long entry, or are we going to go lower? Mavs Hawk, are we talking about the 50? I think we will front run the 50 MA. Are you talking about simple moving average or exponential moving average? You looking for a scalp long still? Yep, absolutely. We are looking as if we're going to go to the right. Valid. Who knows off? Very valid. SMA. SMA. Just put a random one. One moment, guys. Yeah, tomorrow we have FOMC minutes. Guys, I'm still in my Zcash short. It's a negative. I'm down 2K. As discussed. I need to see a sweep, Legends. I think it'll happen, to be honest. I think this is the most bullish chart there is, guys. Can anyone tell me what this means for Bitcoin? Paz Maria Vallejos. Hey, Metzir. Hello, how are you? Also waiting for a scalp long. Awesome. Now we wait. Maybe we don't even grab the liquidity, right? Dumpage? Dump it? Dumpage? Let's see, guys. Sometimes you guys leave some pretty funny comments. I cut my circulation sitting on my hands waiting for 75,700. Funny. Hello, hello, Ferrari, my man. Whales are watching and won't dip further. The whales are watching the stream. Pump for Bitcoin. 59% now thinks 74K. It's changing, guys. Are we bullish or are we bearish? In the more short term. On the higher time frames, you guys know what I think is next. Do 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 Sailor subscribed to you yesterday. Why am I looking at 75.7? The reason I'm looking at 75.7 specifically is for a potential liquidity grab just below 75.7. As you can see, most of the liquidity ends, in the low 75s. But I want us to go just below 75.7, 75.5, call it, to grab this big cluster. Also, we have the bull market support bands right at 75.7. So this, I would say, here is solid. I would love this. Absolutely love this. 75.5 is what I'm going for here. Can we have a tutorial on how to spot CVD divergences, please, Metzir? Sure. I'll write that down in my notes as a tutorial idea. Mm, 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 mm. I really dislike these kinds of comments that are like, so it will go under 60K. I don't know what's going to happen. I've said it several times. I just tell you what I think can happen. And based on historical price action, Bitcoin has dropped around 52% from the 126K top to just below $60,000. In previous bear markets, we typically drop well over 70%. So in my opinion, with the law of diminishing returns but also diminishing drawdowns, I think that we could be seeing Bitcoin drop somewhere between 60 and 65% from its all-time high over the course of this year. And what that means, what that would look like for Bitcoin, would be a drop from the high. 60% would see us into 50K, and 65% would put us into this, aggressive zone for my accumulation. But my accumulation doesn't have to mean your accumulation. You could have accumulated at 60K if you wanted to. I didn't. He knows the future, he just won't tell us. Guys, if I knew the future, I would love to tell you guys. I will enter long and add margin if it goes lower. My liquidation is far away anyways. That's a risky game to play. Yeah, we are at the bottom of the bull market support band. Are you friends with Crypto? No, I know of him. I'm not friends. It's going to 43,000. That would be a big dump, eh? If I knew the future, I would tell no one. Yeah, that's... I guess that's valid, because then maybe you're... Is there a vacuum sound coming from your stream? Maybe it's just me breathing weirdly. Sorry. Why not start scaling in since the price is close enough? Close enough is not at my entry. If I miss the trade, I miss the trade. I don't stress about these kinds of things, guys. There's unlimited opportunities in this market. And if the stock market dumps, that's another reason why I wouldn't want to scale in, because if the stock market continues to get some movement to the downside, Bitcoin could just blow past all of our levels, right? I don't want to add to a Bitcoin long position. In fact, I was okay with adding to a Bitcoin short position. Um, it's Taco Tuesday. We're not going down to... Why can't we align with 2022? Like pumping to 60K, then to 30K, then to 67K before... I'll explain why I don't think that's the case. So I get what you're saying here. So in 2022, Bitcoin basically... By the way, this is the chart of every time we had a new Fed chair, we just dumped massively. This was Jerome Powell's second term up here. But look, let's take a look at 2022. So you're referring to this, where we basically had a dump and a move higher to make an all-time high. But guys, that's basically what happened this year already. It already happened. Look, a little bit different, but still pretty much the same. Create a high at around 110, drop to 74. That was a big move down. Remember, everyone was freaking out. And then another all-time high. Just above. Granted, it wasn't a few $1,000s. It was like more like $10,000 plus, but still, same thing. So I think we've already seen that play out. I don't see us making an all-time high from here. Sorry, guys. Tomorrow is pump day. Is it? If tomorrow is pump day, I hope we dump so I can go and enter my long. Maybe I'm being too greedy with the entry. Yeah, Mav Shank, that's my base case, actually. I think we can get a squeeze higher. I'm hoping for it, at least from a trading perspective. It makes sense. When it makes sense, you execute, and if you lose the trade, you lose the trade. That's how things work. Matt, my man, little late to the stream. What did I miss? You missed me looking for a potential long entry, which I'm still doing. So you missed nothing. Well, we went over some historical price action as usual. And now I'm just waiting, just patiently waiting. Trading is a waiting game. Roth Trader, if you took the trade, congrats. But for me, I'm sitting on my hands here, guys, waiting for a better entry. Legends, let's destroy that like button. 178 likes. Let's get it up to 200. Come on. I know we can do this, guys. Destroy that like button. Absolutely smash it. Let's get us to 200 likes, then maybe even 300. Sayamori, what is the leverage you suggest to make on that trade? Guys, leverage is completely irrelevant. It's about the capital that you use. If you have a $100,000 trading portfolio and you're risking 1% of your trading portfolio, then you should only be risking $1,000 per trade. Now, how far that $1,000 goes in terms of leverage is up to you. But that's it. So leverage, you can choose what leverage you use. Your short bias is clouding your judgment with your entry. I love your thought process, though. Otherwise, I'm enjoying this because I trade at home alone. This is like locker room talk. Sick. Yeah, that's fair. If you enter a long for fun, I'll also enter a long for fun with a small percentage. Let's see, guys. Let's see. I'd much prefer lower. Wait, Mavs Hawk. Why do I say Mavs Shock? So silly. Mavs Hawk. You entered. Did you enter right at this low here? I think we could potentially sweep the lows, but I could be wrong. Maybe this was the sweep of the lows. After the dump that is going to happen, when and how big would the next pump be? Guys, we can't talk with certainty like that. First of all, there's no guarantee that the next dump is going to happen. There are no guarantees in the market. I have to make that abundantly clear. I'm just telling you what I think could be happening, but I could be wrong, and I've been wrong before. Second of all, how big would the next pump be? I'm not a fortune teller, but my target for the next pump would be at least just below $80,000 because we have a good cluster of liquidity there of shorts piling up. Then if it goes further, then it goes further, and I effectively hold on to my position a little bit longer if I get into that trade. Let's make some pizza money today. No pizza. Tuna sandwich. If we knew when it will dump or pump, everyone would be rich and we could predict. Roth trader, exactly, man. Exactly. I've been holding out like a good Christian woman. I shouldn't have read that on the stream. I'm just blindly reading some of the comments, you guys. I've been using the EMA 314 with Sammy, Crypto Lifer, on the 1 minute chart. When the price holds above it, that's usually a strong entry signal. And it looks like we're about to see that setup now. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't like indicators on the 1 minute chart. Unfortunately, you're watching the wrong crypto channel if you think that I will advocate for that. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Just speaking out loud here, guys. Come on, 1 minute chart. Do. You're a great guy reading our comments. Not if it gets me banned on YouTube. I've been burned so hard by looking at the 1 minute chart. This is something else that needs to be addressed, especially if you're in my community. Some of you ask me like, man, how on earth are you handling being in drawdown in some positions, in swing trades? How are you not, sending an update? What's going on? I'm very chill when it comes to trading the market. I'm a swing trader. I used to do these 1 minute scalps, 15-minute scalps. It's not my cup of tea. I make way more money and I am way more chill swing trading. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, and based on data, smaller sample size, but the most successful traders that I have personally met are swing traders. The ones that don't take a gazillion positions every single day, but rather size into some bigger positions with higher conviction. That's it. A lot of people try to glorify day trading, but you'll hear it here first. This is a no bullshit crypto channel, in my opinion, and the data supports this. Day traders lose money. 99% of them. I am a swing trader, and that's how I make my money. Sometimes I'll pop in with a couple scalps, but for the most part, a lot of it is holding a pretty big position and waiting. Some of the positions that you see on the channel where I come on the channel and say, hey guys, this trade is closed, I've made $200,000. It was sitting at like a $50,000 loss and I was just sitting there. So again, it's based on your own capital size, but the same rule applies. Good morning, William Sadler. My man is in the chat. Matsuri, I really like your channel. You're realistic and down to earth. No hype. Thanks, man. Keep up the good work. My pleasure. My pleasure. 79. So this is the other thing, Mavs Hawk, that I was talking about earlier. I'm sure you were in the stream, but we were holding here, right? This was a potential bouncing zone for Bitcoin, but you want to see us flip it as support ASAP if you're already in a long. Otherwise, you can experience that rejection and then a move lower already. So we'll see how this plays out, but you really want to see this flip as support if you're already longing. History after the midterm elections. I mean, I will say that for historical price action of Bitcoin, right? I like this chart. It's Bitcoin's year-to-date ROI and how it performs in midterm years. The average is this middle line here. Right now, we are well above the average. And so if you assume that we get closer to the average, this could mean another move down for Bitcoin because we're above it. So if we go back to the mean, it's, yeah. And also we got the new Fed chair. Historically, with the new Fed chair, what happens is markets dump. Don't shoot the messenger. But this is what has happened. Let me just... So this is like Bitcoin, right? New Fed chair, dump. New Fed chair, dump. We pumped after, but dump initially, 70+%. New Fed chair. We had already dumped into the bear market, but we dumped another. My gosh, this magnet is so annoying. And we dumped another. You know, over 50%. So let's see. We now have a new Fed chair. Again, from all-time highs, I think that Bitcoin could drop at least 60%, which would put Bitcoin at 50K. But 65 is also a possibility. Then higher time frame stuff, right? Let's see. So as a swing trader, how long do you stay in trades on average? That's a great question. Well, it really depends, right? So we have this Bitcoin trade that you can see here, where I've secured around 300K in realized profits. This was shared in my group as well. When I entered, how I took profits on the way, when I added to position, etc. This one has been held since basically $98,000 on Bitcoin. So it's quite some time. But other swing trades, let's say, I would say on average, probably like a couple weeks, something like that. Baxter, yes. I Here's the thing. If this next potential bounce, assuming we are to get one for Bitcoin, is going to determine if we can sweep some even higher liquidity above $80,000 up to these highs. If the bounce is weak, and I think we will get a bounce. Like, I don't think we're just going to keep on going down, 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 down like the last drop. If we do go down, like I said, though, I'm in some shorts, some pretty heavy shorts, so I'm more than happy to take advantage of that price action. But this next bounce will determine Bitcoin's fate, let's say, and if the 4-year cycle will play out. If the bounce somehow gets acceptance back into our key confluence zone above the 200-day moving average, above 81.2 at this point, and above 85, then that would suggest that maybe this time is different. But we have history on our side here. I'm saying that this time is not different. I don't think this time will be different. We talked about in the previous live stream how most of the people 50-50 bearish bullish, but when Bitcoin was higher, it was 70% bullish, 30% bearish. That's when I went short at around $97,000. And the lower we go, the more and more people get bearish. So I think that if we take out the lows at 60K, everyone's going to just be horribly bearish, and maybe we go even down to like the 40s, let's say. If that is to happen, I think everyone's probably going to give up on crypto again, and here I will be on the live stream saying, guys, I'm bullish. And that's what's going to happen. But it takes time for these things to play out. Yeah, if you trade with 25K, you're considered a dolphin. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to give you probabilities for the different Bitcoin levels. All I know is that if we are to... Right now, I can say... I would probably say that there's a 65% chance... I might eat my words here. Do I want to say 70? Based on what I'm seeing, there's... I'll just say 70. Based on what I'm seeing, I think there's a 70% chance that Bitcoin goes below $60,000. So you heard it on the live stream. I think that there's a high probability that the low is not in for this bear market. Anything lower than that, I'm not going to give any predictions. But what I will say is that I think that we will sweep those lows. The levels I buy at, well, I don't have any probabilities really. I'm just, as it goes lower, I buy, and that's it. That's it. I try not to overcomplicate my spot buying strategy. NASDAQ, a little bit of a drop here. Crypto King 726, no, but I'm almost quite frankly getting tired of explaining my thesis. I've explained why I think Bitcoin could go lower multiple times. I've gone through the historical cycles. I've talked about inflation, how the broader market is it feels like it's getting propped up. I've talked about how there's effectively only real buying pressure from Michael Saylor. I've talked about the looming narratives, but historical price action mainly suggests that Bitcoin can go lower. We've also seen that in midterm years, the stock market can greatly outperform Bitcoin. It can make all-time highs, and Bitcoin can still struggle. So I don't know if you guys want me to give you a recap as to... I don't know if you guys want me to give you a recap as to why I think we're going to go lower. Probably takes about 5 minutes to go over everything again. Maybe we do that a little bit later. Um, but yeah, those are just my thoughts, and I've talked about it probably 50 times over the last 70 pieces of content that I've made. We're getting a little bit of a bounce here. Crypto King 726. Imagine how teachers feel getting asked the same dumb questions over and over year after year. Look, it's not a dumb question. I'm just saying, you know, I've explained it often, and I will likely explain it again. Yep, they can still take notes or rewind the stream. That's also true. Still live. Might as well go over it for the people just showing up. Yeah, I will. I will at some point, but I'm probably gonna stay live. What are we? We're an hour and a half in, guys. You know me. I've been ripping some 3 hour plus live streams recently, and I'm doing my best to keep that momentum going. Um, if you're just joining, especially, make sure you just destroy that like button. Absolutely destroy it. We're at 210 likes. I think that we can get to at least 300. I think so. Probably 400, because you guys are absolute legends. Man, thanks so much for your stream. Keep it up. I will keep it up. Thank you for supporting the streams. Major support at $76,400. Major bid. Yeah. Many bids, sorry. This is the flip zone. If you're bullish here, you want to see us flip this. If you already entered along at the low, you want to see us flip this. For me personally, I haven't entered. I would much prefer a sweep of a little bit lower. But maybe I'm being greedy with my entry. Sometimes that can happen. We're also 10 minutes away, 25 minutes away from the 4 hour candle close. Disappointing price action. We need the orange guy to tweet. Fun to have traders streaming that are not moon boys. Do you guys, what are some of the better trading streamers? Because I know that here's the thing, there's some streamers that I've seen pop up on my feed, and what they do is, regardless of the price action, they don't actually look for like a really, really good opportunity. They just sit there, stare at the screen, and they always, without fail, have one trade per stream. And I think that would be fun. That's a fun concept. But if I don't see the entry that I personally want, I'm not particularly inclined to enter a trade on stream, right? Or would you guys just prefer if I just do some 1 minute time frame analysis and look for ridiculous scalps just to have a small trade for the sake of the stream? Let me know what you prefer. So you can see Mavs Hawk. We're getting a little bit of rejection here at this zone, which is a zone that I would have anticipated. Like if I took a scalp and I entered right here, like you said you did, I would probably take profits here, because you can see that this is support, 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 until it's not. So we must reclaim it to see continuation. Otherwise, I think we move lower. I took half out at resistance again. Nice. Nice, man. Yeah, quick scalp. As long as you made money, who really cares, right? Um, Jason, Crypto Cranks, some Korean streamers, but yeah, only streamers who actually trade and not just show their TA. Too many fake people in the space. Oh man, don't get me started about the people that show their TA. Fuck. Don't get me started. Oh, it infuriates me. These guys grow a crazy audience and they post 18 different scenarios and then they cherry pick the one that actually played out and they're like, see, I got it. I told you guys, see, this was always the most likely scenario. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. And they LARP. They don't even trade with their money. It's just unreal. Unreal. And they get a big audience. Anyways, that's my rant. Keep it real, keep it real. It's better the way you do it. It's more authentic. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Good to see you, Coach. Thank you for always educating me. My pleasure. What do you think of Crypto Lifer? He is a real scalper and takes online trades. I don't know who Crypto Lifer is. As I said, guys, my knowledge of crypto influencers outside of maybe like the ones that have been around since 2015 is very, very limited. I don't really pay attention to other influencers. I just do my own stuff. And I think that's the best way to present my analysis because then I'm not influenced by what other people think. Yeah, I saw this Cento Trades guy too. On it seems like he's trading with more capital than I am, and he's like this guy must be absolutely loaded. That's just he's yeah, I've seen it. But for him it's like the price moves by 2% and he shows a trade and he's up like 400 grand. And it's like, what? Which level are you looking to long? GG for your work, by the way. Thank you. As you can see here, I would like to see us basically sweep the bull market support bands. If we sweep 75, that would be maybe even better. I might do half size if we sweep the bull market support band, and then another half if we sweep 75. My trading is better when I'm not listening to anyone. I should probably block YouTube and X. Yeah, a lot of people come to this realization as they continue trading the markets. Like, you gotta pave your own way. Sellers got exhausted trying to push the price lower. Maybe. He literally watches 5-second candles and says, look at these candles. What the fuck am I supposed to watch, bro? Bottom of the band is 75.3. No, bottom of the band is right here. Sorry, guys. It's because it's zoomed out. The band is really an estimation, right? So 75.7. But I would love to enter at around 75.5 if we get the opportunity. So that would require Bitcoin to drop another $1,000. I don't know if we're going to get it. Hey, Matt, how are you? You trade on Forex or gold? I hold some gold, but I don't trade Forex because my edge is in crypto. Bull market, bear market, my edge is in crypto. I don't need to trade Forex. Nothing wrong with it, though. What if a meaningful bounce does not arrive until $60,000? I'm telling you guys right here on stream. If a meaningful bounce does not occur until $60,000, one, I will be very happy because I'm in some big short positions. 2, I am also more than happy to take a loss on a long trade. I'm telling you now, if there are no bounces and we hit my area of interest and I risk 1% of my trading portfolio, I'm more than happy to take the loss. If it happens, it happens. And that's that, right? So it's worth it in my opinion, because I'm going to be making 5, 10 risk to reward on the big swing trades that I have already, if price just nukes. So that's why it's great to be positioned in the way that I'm positioned. Swing shorts from higher, looking for longs. Yeah, Crypto King 726. There's a fat band of liquidity around 75.4 so that could happen. That's also something that adds to my confluence, right? Like I said, I don't only look at liquidity. It helps in my overall analysis, but if I see that I'm looking for a long and we're getting very close to some of these moving averages and the bands that I track for my trading, and there's liquidity right below the level, you want to see us sweep that liquidity, and then we could potentially be off to the races. The ETFs launched in 2023 have never been tested at the release of 49.5. I believe that the weekly CME will be filled this bear market, and that will mark the bottom. Semi, that's a very interesting theory, and $49,500 is well within a reasonable bear market target, in my opinion. So you could be onto something. This long trade you're probably going to take, will it be a swing long? Yeah. What's up, legends? I mean, best case would be all the way down to this anchored VWAP, but I don't know. That's my first main attempt. Legitimate question. If we sweep the bull market support band, confirm a bounce, do you think a full exit on short would be okay? There, re-enter above if we hit around 81K. I don't know, guys. I took profits on my short on the way down, and I have to say that it's anyone's best guess as to how big of a bounce we can get. I think that we're in for some pretty shitty price action to the downside, let's say. So on that note, I probably would maintain my swing short, and I would close my scalp short, because I want to have that exposure. Even if the price goes above my entry, I would maybe even add to my swing short. So I know it's a little bit confusing, but my base case is that we will likely be moving lower. So that was an interesting 15-minute candle close. We tried to confirm this as support to break above it. And now we have to see what the next 15 minutes gives us, because we're going into a 4-hour candle close. This is important. Yeah, the bond market is also just flying, right? So the long might not even play out. Maybe I just get stopped out. And again, it's okay. How long will the bear market continue? Usually the bear market takes 1 year from the bull market top. The bear market bottom establishes itself, which would technically put us in October of this year. However, I would like to say that if Bitcoin does drop very, very aggressively over the course of the summer, I think we could bottom out before October. And obviously, if you're in my group, you'll know exactly when I decide to buy Bitcoin, when I decide to trade Bitcoin, any new trades I take. That's shared within my group members first. For my group members first. It's completely free. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you're able to join that group. You're trading with your own capital. You just have to sign up with one of these links down below, and you're good to get access to that group. But that's where I share all of my movements in the market before I come on the YouTube channel. So I think that if we get an aggressive move down, we can bottom sooner than most people are willing to admit, which is why I will be dollar cost averaging on the way down. Are you investing in anything else other than crypto? Yep. Stock market, looking to get into some real estate, everything. Go Uncle Trump. 75.5 is what I'm going for. Ganesh, that's a very possible scenario. Bitcoin dropping back to 60K and then just chopping sideways until October to finally make a big flush down, and then we're off to the races. Um, it's possible, guys. We've seen it before. We've seen it before. How are stocks doing? What's the update on the stock market? See what I mean? Little bounce. Not so much for Bitcoin. Down, down. Funding on Bitcoin is positive? Is that the case? I guess it depends on... Ooh, yeah, guys. I mean, it's not that positive, but something to keep your eyes on for sure. When we flush out those longs. Come on, flush out the longs so I can go long. Oil is back as the problem. Market cares again. Yep. Mad hungry for ribs today. Manly's barbecue. My man. Oof. I love some ribs. I could just destroy some ribs. How often you doing workout gym in a week? I would say on average 4 to 5 times a week, but oftentimes I'm doing 2 forms of exercise per day. So it'll be like gym and tennis, right? And on the weekends, I try to do some mobility, but mainly just a lot of sports on the weekends. How's your Zcash short doing? It's in negative right now, I believe. I'm down 8K. So I still think that it will drop, and I'm okay holding this position, right? I still think that it will drop. Especially if the broader market drops. Now, the other thing that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention that I'm looking for a potential trade setup is hype. Oh, this looks toppy. Sorry for the sounds on the mic. I think the thing is, look at the funding rate, right? People are heavily interested in shorts here. And so I want to wait until this funding probably cools off a little bit. Matsuri, you are a legend, bro. Respect. Pablo, my man, thank you. Appreciate you for tuning into the live stream. They're not giving us very clear price action here. Sometimes it takes time for these things to develop. Who were your favorite crypto traders when you were learning to trade? Oh, man. I didn't. Again, I watched so many different people that I couldn't give you a specific one. And then I just said, screw this, I'm going to do it myself. And then I started losing money before I started making good money in the market. Dennis Tennis. Tennis is the best. Yes, it is, my man. It is gorgeous outside. There's a whale shorting hype right now on Hyperliquid. He's down $9 million. Wow. What is the biggest payouts trading you've ever had on what coin? Biggest has probably been Bitcoin. And honestly, it might be this trade that I have open. $320,000. I think it's that one. There was some that came close. No, it's definitely this one. Because guys, on this during this bear market, my trades looked like this. So I entered a short on Bitcoin at around 123. I took most of my profits below 110. Then basically not many trades within this range. Then we had a nice relief rally, and I went long on Bitcoin, knife catching, as I like to call it, at around 83. Took most of my profits up here at around above 90. Then I went aggressively short at 97. And this is the trade that you're still seeing. I've been holding on to my short for some time, but the reason why the entry is not at 97 is because I've added to my existing position and I've taken profits from this trade. So probably this one that you're seeing right here. And again, this trade was shared within my community. All my trades are before I come on the live stream, before I come and film a YouTube video. So you have the first link in the description down below if you want to see how I'm trading this market. It's a free group because you're trading with your own capital. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join my private group where I share all of my own personal trades and my overall market analysis. You can essentially just sign up to any of these links down below and start trading on there. Some people trade with $500, $1,000, $50,000, $100,000. There's even a couple of whales within my community that are trading with well over $1 million. And so to each their own, whatever capital you want to trade with, you can. It's your own capital and you decide what you do with it. Entries change a lot. Can you add an existing bluffing account? Dennis Tennis, my man, it's frustrating because they used to allow this thing called referral transfers, and I used to be able to. Unfortunately, now we can't do this. So the only solution with Bluffin, if you want to use Bluffin and it's your go-to exchange, I would honestly just recommend making a new account, signing up with the links in the description down below. This one up here. And it doesn't take that long. Transfer your funds over, and there should be a way that you can actually close the other account. And if you're KYC'd or whatever, you can also do it on the new account and then just make this new one. I know it's a little bit of a hassle, but you get bonuses for signing up with me and you get access to my group if that interests you. Is Bluffin no KYC? Yeah, it is. Bluffin is no KYC. However, there's a limit to like how much you can withdraw in one day if you decide to not do the KYC. So I think it's like 20, it might be 20K a day if you do no KYC. If you do KYC, then obviously it's like a million. Mavs Hawk. I can't use Bluffin but want to join. Who should I use? Looking at BTCC now. If I could, I would say 2bits because they have really good stock market options as well, and precious metals. I would have a look at Velto if you're into self custody. That's like my only self custody option, and then Weeks. I think that I have BTCC as an option, but I do favor some other options before, simply from the user experience side of things. Don't you get scared having 100K on an exchange? Personally, ever since we've gone perp dexes, I use things like Hyperliquid, Aster, Lighter. Not really. I know I have personally met the people from Bluffin, and so I trust them. I really trust them. Anytime I've had any issues, which is very rarely, they help me out. And because of this, it gives me confidence that if someone joins my community and they're trading with a good amount of capital, I can assist them in any potential issues that arise because I have such a great relationship with Bluffin. So I'm not paid to say this, guys. I just use their platform, right? Okay, funding is back to negative for Bitcoin. We're not going to get some clarity here, are we? I'm not a huge fan of PNX, but I know some people that like it. Does Bluffin have stock market? Yep, does. Is it possible to withdraw profits from Bluffin to your own bank account? I think it depends on where you're based, right? For me personally, I have a different solution to that. I know a lot of people tend to use other exchanges for withdrawals. So they'll send the crypto from Bluffin to the other exchange, then they'll convert it to whatever currency, then they'll send it to their bank account. So let's see how the 4-hour candle closed, Legends. And it's a red one thus far, which to me suggests that we can pop back down. But let's see. Maybe I'm being greedy with the entry. Toscana Crypto. I already have Bluffin. Can I add your name? Unfortunately, we just went over this. You can't. They used to allow this where we can do quick referral transfers, but it doesn't happen like that anymore. So if you're really interested in joining the group and you'd like trading on Bluffin, it's your go-to exchange, I would just recommend making a new account, clicking the second link in my description down below, and then deposit on there, start trading on there, and then you can close your other account. Yeah, Zcash, I'm down 10 bands. Oh, guys, what else am I meant to do? I use Kraken, zero fees with their cheap membership. Eh. Yeah, Makara, we talked about this. US 30-year yields at highest level since July 2007. Yeah, Nick Tooney. Thanks for the confirmation. Maybe a fake to the upside and then we drop. Let's see. How are we doing on the live stream? Okay. We've been at it for 2 hours, guys. Honestly, Wizior, I prefer Bluffin to BitUnex based on my experience. I like Bluffin more. Yeah, Kave 021. I've heard that people like Kraken for withdrawals as well, but it's not the best for trading. Uh, man. Faround FA round find out. It's so hard with these usernames sometimes, guys. Like I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a full name, but you were mentioning USDT dominance. I've talked about USDT dominance on the channel before, but I personally like USDT plus USDC because this basically encapsulates all of the stablecoin, most of the stablecoins, I should say, because these two hold the most amount of market cap. And you can see that we're effectively holding above the bull market support band, which is bullish for stablecoin dominance. And just to make it clear, you could see here USDC has around $76 billion market cap. Tether just under 200 billion. But yeah. If we get the drop, we get a break of structure and we lose the hopium of the bulls. I'm hoping for like a big wick down and then a big move to the upside, like a few $1,000s and then another move to the downside. But I could be wrong, guys. I've been wrong before. Denzo, so does Bluffin. Bluffin has all those options as well. So, Alejandro, I think it was Alejandro. My apologies. I just saw that you messaged here, um, asking about funding. Where is it? I saw the comment. Alejandro, where are you? Can you explain a bit more about how funding works, why it matters, and how you incorporate it into your overall analysis and trade ideas? So, first and foremost, you know, a lot of influencers on the move up said, guys, funding is negative. Therefore, everyone's just shorting and we're going to keep on pumping. We're going to keep on pumping. We're going to keep on pumping. Funding, I have to be honest, is probably a like 5% of my analysis. Do I consider it? Yes, but it's not the be all end all unless it's absolutely obscene. When I was shorting Rave, we saw that the funding rate was like a whole negative 2%, which means that the shorts are paying the longs. Sorry, is it longs that are, guys, can you correct me? Longs are paying shorts. Am I tripping? But anyways, with the funding rate that negative, it made me want to effectively not enter a position until it went back to par or at least into positive. This time around, with the funding rate being how it is, which is slightly positive, nothing has, this doesn't add any kind of confluence to my analysis. When it was a proper negative 2%, then naturally that helps. Yeah, if it's negative, then shorts are paying longs. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. Shorts are paying longs. And so when I was in my Rave short, you guys remember that shit coin that I talked about on the channel? I made a video and I said, guys, this token is going to drop 95%. And it was sky high. I made 60 grand on the way down on that token. I wish I made more. I could have been a 6-figure trade. But when we had a huge peak, I didn't manage to re-enter my position. So I got stopped at a break even after making some profits. But everyone wanted to short that token. And then we had the funding rate kind of go back to par. And that was like absolutely epic. Also, funding is different on all exchanges. So you have to check CoinGlass or something to see the big exchanges. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like with Bitcoin, unless you see some crazy, ridiculous funding in either direction, it's not going to impact how I trade really. Oh, guys, I had some meetings this morning, and some of you probably know what it was about. I shared it in my premium group where we released some tools for the community, and it happened to coincide right before the market opened. I think that I should be starting my streams before the US market open, because now I've just been doing it like right after it opens, right around that 10 a.m. time frame here. I wake up at like 6, sometimes even 5. So maybe I need to shift that around. Could be nice. Yeah, altcoins can destroy you with the funding. You could pay some pretty big fees. Negative, yeah. It's coming, legend. Let's see, guys. Gosh, patience, patience. But it's funny, like right at market open, yeah, we got a dump, pump, and now we're kind of just like nothing has really happened, but you get that local volatility. Earlier streams would be awesome. The only thing is I'm trying to make sure that I don't constantly switch the time of my streams and just content in general, simply because I'm always back and forth from Canada to Dubai. So, you know, if I do too late of a stream here, I don't really want to do a stream late at night in Dubai. I'm someone that likes their sleep. I don't I've been through that phase where I stay up till 3, 4 in the morning. Not my cup of tea anymore. I optimize my life. So um so earlier streams here would actually be better for when I go to the UAE back and forth. It makes sense. I love the morning stream. Awesome. This is worse than watching paint dry. I'm going to use that. That's a great saying. Whenever I'm extremely bored, that's a good one. I've heard it before, and I remember telling myself I'm going to use that saying, but I just never ended up doing it. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. Weezior, why don't you like Dubai? I personally really like it there. It's like my work, my trading, my fitness, everything has leveled up since I moved there. Yeah, no, like the 1 hour close was not very bullish. The 4 hour close, neither. It just looks like a slow bleed. Okay. So there's something else that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, and this is a real possibility. I know I'm looking for a long, guys. I'm in my swing shorts, but a real possibility could be how the price action played out on the last dump. If Bitcoin just starts moving aggressively down, guys, it's something we have to consider, because when we got a weekly sweep like this, the next week's like, look at this. That's a huge candle. So there is a non-negligible chance that something like that can also happen again. Just making everyone aware. We're waiting for this local price action, but what if it just nukes? Trump is live? I don't know, guys. Whenever Trump is live, yo, Drake from Timu, do you rap? Bro, I don't look like Drake whatsoever. That's crazy. Crazy. What was I saying? Trump is live. Here's the thing. Sometimes I'll show Trump and then you guys just leave the stream. So you guys want a bit of Trump action or what? Do we do a bit of Trump? Is he addressing the markets? What's going on? Yeah, they do need to calm the bond market down. But Trump can only taco so many times, right? Until eventually we go lower. Taco Tuesday. Oof, you know what? I think I'm going to have that for lunch. I'm going to grab some tacos. Some like steak tacos. Oof. Yeah, I know. That's so funny. Like I've never seen that guy on my stream before, and he just starts throwing shots. Insane. Ultimately, not to oversimplify things, but um, there is a 250 mil Bitcoin order sitting at 76,350. Anthony Lee Crypto. Like a sell order, you're saying? Why do you think Zcash is holding up so well? Um, Honestly, there are select alts that can outperform. Hype is one of them. Zcash is one of them currently. But my expectation is that the broader market will likely drop. And the idea behind the trade is the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Chipotle tacos don't count. No, no, no. There's actually a fantastic, it's from a food truck. Chipotle tacos, come on, give me a break. It's from a proper food truck. It's authentic. Oh, and it's just lovely. Oh, it's lovely. I'm gonna eat there. Bounce opportunity. I don't like this price action to trade right now. The privacy narrative in general is solid. I agree, but I don't think that it will hold up if Bitcoin has another leg down. Do, 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 do. What about Ondo? I mean, I shorted that thing to zero a long, long time ago. I actually shorted Ondo before the liquidation event. So I made so much money on that down, and then I just no longer in the position. Yeah, but Grigor, STRC, I mean, we're kind of climbing up here, right? So, oh, oh, did the voting happen? Oh no, this is sorry. This is a different one. Sorry, I was looking at Stretch. I was like, shit. Because I thought that the next ex-dividend date would have been June 1st. I was like, damn. Um, yeah, Grigor, it really, like, you can see that this time around with Stretch and Michael Saylor's product, he actually wasn't able to buy as much Bitcoin as the last time around with the excess liquidity. And so, um, again, maybe this can pop back up towards that next expected dividend date, but I think he's going to continue to struggle. Maybe he'll find new ways, new financial instruments, new ways to Ponzi his way out of this. But like, I don't know. Eventually, I think interest in this will fade as the global markets take a little bit of a toll. Um, let's see. Let's see. But he bought big last week. From Monday to Friday, he literally bought almost 30,000 Bitcoins. Absolutely mad. Narratives are like trend lines, only your friend until it's not. Yeah. Lorient VR, hi Mathieu, is there a Zcash entry? Guys, my Zcash trade and any of the trades that I'm currently in were shared within my premium group. If you want to know my entries, it's a free group, guys. You're trading with your own money. Simply just sign up with one of the affiliate exchange links down below. I typically recommend bluffing, and then DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram to be able to join that group for free. Otherwise, I'll look for some scalps on the stream. I'm holding a big bag, and I don't know if I should hold through this dip or sell and try to enter lower, or can it outperform Bitcoin in your opinion? Of Zcash? Look, I think if Bitcoin dumps, it will dump hard. I know right now it's holding up, but in my opinion, everything will lead to Bitcoin over the course of this bear market. Like check. It's been a while, guys. How are we looking? 262 likes? Come on, legends. We've been at it. We're getting closer and closer to the 3-hour mark. Destroy that like button. We got to make it to above 300 likes, at least. We got that. Come on. 262. And we refresh, and nothing's happening. 263. Guys, there's more people watching than likes. We got some silent watchers, some lurkers as we call them. This is the kind of price action where you get me to start drawing 5-minute ranges. Like, tabarnak, come on. Unbelievable, guys. Are you not entertained? Cecile Premi 1800. Hi, I'm new here. I noticed you're bearish on Bitcoin. Do share your reasoning, please. If you're reading this, you're not smashing the like button. Yes, exactly, Alejandro. All right, guys. It is time, because Cecile Premi 1800 asked, I will deliver why I'm bearish on Bitcoin. Let's do this. Paz Maria Vallejos, yes, I rip ping pong. I am filthy at ping pong. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But whenever it's nice outside, I have to go to my bread and butter, tennis. Okay, let's talk about the bear market price action. Grab your popcorn. Here we go. So, first and foremost, history doesn't have to repeat, but it often rhymes. And what we know is that Bitcoin typically drops well over 70% in the bear markets. There's previous bear markets before this, but for the purpose of being a bit quicker, we'll talk about this one. We'll talk about the last couple. We dropped approximately 80+% from the highs to the lows. Then the next cycle, we dropped approximately 77% from the highs to the lows. And look at the length of time. It's typically 1 year from the bull market top to the bear market bottom. Look at that. November, November. It's not an exact science, but this is how it's been repeating. So far, we've had our top for the bull market at around $126,000, and we've dropped at its lowest point around 52%. What we're seeing here, in my opinion, is another bear market relief rally. So on the higher time frames, I'm expecting Bitcoin to go lower, even though I am holding a spot Bitcoin portfolio. I've been very clear about this. Now, assuming we bottom out a year from the top, that would put us into October of this year. There is a possibility that we can bottom before, but it would require very aggressive price action to the downside, in my opinion, of course. So I think that what we're seeing is another relief rally that is coming to its final end stages before Bitcoin likely moves lower. You'll notice a consistent pattern in bear markets for Bitcoin, and that is that we slowly grind to the upside and we create higher highs and higher lows until eventually the structure just breaks. You can see here in the previous bear market, look at this wedging structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then an explosive move to the downside. Again, zooming in, a little bit of a wedgie structure, higher high, higher low. This is obviously the weekly time frame, but if I go to the daily, you'll see the same pattern. Drop, drop. Now, in bull markets, what typically happens is we get this kind of price action, where you get a nice move to the upside, but you create lower highs ever so slightly, and you create lower lows, which sounds counterintuitive. Wouldn't we just dump from there? Well, what usually happens is we get an explosive move breaking above the highs, and then we see the same pattern play out time and time again. This one in particular was a huge one over the course of summer. Chop, 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 chop. Do you guys remember the summer chop thesis? I don't need to remind you of that. But anyways, big move to the upside after we break out. So bull markets is a little bit of like a descending wedging structure. Bear markets, it's a little bit of an ascending structure. And that ascending structure eventually comes to an end. So that's the structure of bull markets and bear markets. Especially for crypto. And I don't think that 52% drop, due to the amount of time it took and the actual drop itself, was enough to call for a bear market bottom. Now, every single drop in a bear market, you get less and less people that are bullish. So what I mean by this is, over here on this drop, when Bitcoin dropped from 126 down to 80, when we had this rally, and yes, I did go long on this rally, this was also shared within my community, we managed to have about 70% of traders flipping and remaining bullish, calling for new highs. Meanwhile, there was around 30% of traders, including myself, calling for new lows. Then we created those new lows, and every single dump afterwards, less and less people believe in the bullish narrative. On this move up, I would say that we're sitting at around 50-50. So about 50% of the people are bullish, 50% are bearish. And can we squeeze up higher? Yes, there's a possibility. But ultimately, I think that what we're seeing is the same kind of structuring for Bitcoin to move lower due to the length of time, due to how history doesn't always repeat, but it rhymes. I think the drawdown, thankfully, will be less than we've seen in previous cycles because that's what we see. The movements from all-time lows to all-time lows. The movements from the bear market lows to the new all-time highs typically are less intense, less explosive every new cycle. And what that also means is that the lows tend to be less aggressive from all-time highs to whatever lows materialize. That being said, the difference between 50 and 77 is significant if we compare this cycle to the previous cycle. Normally it's within like a 5 to 10% range, which is why my base case is that we will likely bottom lower than 60% from the all-time highs. And lower than 60% from the all-time highs over the course of this year puts us somewhere in the vicinity of, 50K zone. So I hope that explains my reasoning. I disagree with Raga rhythms. Recession will have no effect on Bitcoin. Completely disagree with that. But usually by the time the recession is confirmed, Bitcoin and the broader markets have already dropped. So there's that to consider. The bottom may already be in by that time. Motivation 17175. If Bitcoin drops, Solana will drop further. That's all I can really say. Mr. Huss, I'm going to have to ban you from the channel if you keep on promoting other channels. That's your warning. Maybe Bitcoin's going to move up from here. Stock market with the SFP at the moment. Is that so? It'd be great if I had the stock market open somewhere. Okay, yeah. Yes. If you're talking about a 4-hour, yeah. Taco Trump. Check it out. Little SFP. Nice observation. Larry Williams, it's more of a self-fulfilling prophecy, but also just in general, in midterm years, Bitcoin just greatly underperforms. It's a new asset class. It still is a new asset class. So stocks can continue to go up and Bitcoin can continue to struggle. I'm 47. I'm a contractor. I hate it. Ready to retire and trade. Teach me. What I would say is the best approach in that regard is to make sure that you're still working while you get into trading. I've been publicly saying this on the channel. A lot of people will quit their jobs and they'll get into trading and then they realize, oh, this doesn't actually work for me. And then they're left with no job and a loss of capital in trading. No, I don't think Bitcoin summer will be super bullish. PSG or Arsenal. Oof. Arsenal are boring to watch. So boring to watch. I think PSG play some champagne football. But I don't know. Maybe Arsenal will be able to just play some annoying and park the bus football, and maybe they can take advantage of PSG on the counter. I'm not sure. But I think PSG is probably the better team. Not probably, they are in my opinion. But sometimes the better team doesn't win. Yeah, better to build a cash reserve. Completely agree. I heavily believe the ETF at 49.5K will be tested, filling that CME gap finally. I honestly don't think like I think that the logic behind that start date of the ETFs and that start price makes a lot of sense. CME gap, maybe not so much, simply because that's no longer going to be a thing. I think going into, is it the end of this month? But yeah, I do think that that's a zone that we could potentially bottom out for. That is a potential zone. Nick Tooney, look, I still think that that bottom will be breached, that 60K bottom, but it really depends from a spot portfolio perspective what position you're in. Because I hold Bitcoin from the previous bear markets, I'm really not that inclined to add to my Bitcoin position here or even at 65K. However, if you don't have any Bitcoin exposure, then and you're in it for the long term, then a sub 70K entry is decent, right? Someone says, I think Bitcoin will bottom between 36K and 40K. And look, it's possible, but all I will say is don't wait until it hits a specific number, right? If you want exposure, get exposure. Not financial advice, of course. I give a pretty massive range. And I think that, or I don't think, my plan is to accumulate at lower levels, right? And just DCAN. Can we trade indexes on Bluffin? Yes, you can. I don't think Sheeb will hit $1. Justin Richard. That's crazy. Do you know what the market cap would have to be for SHIB to hit Shiba to hit $1? What do you think of trading bots? I personally don't use them. I like manually trading. In this day of AI, like I'm sure I can come up with some kind of cool bot that uses my strategies, and maybe I'll look into this. But in this day and age with AI, like so everyone wants to just overcomplicate things. But I like manual. It's nice. Potential rate hikes could be bottom forming scenario too. I think that that's something that Cowan discussed. Oh, Yusuf Geo, maybe it's because of your location, if that's the case, if you can't see them. Can't wait to long Bitcoin at rock bottom. I'm telling you guys right now, the best strategy, of course, I will try to long it, but the bottoms take time to form. It can take months and months and months for a bottom to form. And it wouldn't surprise me if most of us didn't get a great bottom entry. We'll wait for you for your bot because your strategy works most of the time, coach. Um, yes, and like again, I'm an advocate for manually trading. I like it better. And I think, can you imagine the buying that goes in the 40s? Huh. Be crazy. I think the Nvidia report's coming out on the Nvidia report is coming out on Wednesday, I believe. The earnings report, I think you're referring to. Jim Heller. Okay, Mr. Huzz, I'm blocking you from the channel. Stop promoting your nonsense. Past cycles show 1 year almost exactly after the all-time high is the absolute bottom. Buy there, in my opinion. Yes and no. It's not an exact science. We don't. It doesn't have to be 1 year. It can be give or take months from that. But the point is to buy at deeply discounted zones when you're happy with buying. Some people bought at 60K and they're happy. Maybe we squeeze higher here, but only time will tell. Looking like I should have stuck to my initial analysis. Opinions can affect your judgment. This price action had me doubt myself. That's all on me. But you're still in your trade, my man. You took 50%, right? If you entered at 79.1, we didn't even tap into it, bro. So you should still be in your trade. Any opinion on ETH this month and next month? I think it'll continue to bleed against Bitcoin. Oh, man. Why wouldn't you just leave a little moon bag then? Take your 50%, move your stop loss to break even, and let the rest play out. I do that all the time. We did not get a super cycle for bulls. What if we get a super cycle for bears? That would suck. Like I think the worst case scenario is not just a bear market bottom and then we start the new run, but a bear market bottom that lasts years. Oh man, would people just give up? We're pumping, we're pumping, we're pumping. No trigger for me, guys. We swept the value area high again, but I wanted to see us sweep some downside liquidity. And now I think that we see some longs. No, not really. There will be no more CME gap the end of this month. I was wondering how this will affect Bitcoin. It probably won't have any notable impact. I would love a longer bear market. I'm used to that mindset by now, not going to lie. How's the 1 hour lining up? Looks pretty decent, to be honest. For now. 300 likes. We did it. Yeah, if stock market gets a bounce, naturally this helps Bitcoin out. My man. Good day from Australia, mate. What a lovely trade with Zcash, Metzir. I took the profit over the weekend and looking to start shorting from 575 level again. Round of applause for you, Johns. Well done. This is exactly what I mean when I say that members that are within my community that can make their own decisions in this market tend to be the most profitable traders that I have seen, because not only do they use my own analysis to help them out, but they also have their own judgments and therefore they can adjust their positions accordingly. I am still in my Zcash trade. I didn't take any profits. We had a very nice dump over the course of the weekend down to 485. What a great level to take profits. And I just shared a voice message in my group. I didn't take the profits. I'm still in my trade and I'm still expecting potentially lower. Hasn't been invalidated, but now you have extra capital to be able to enter a new potential trade. So people that can make their own decisions in this market, I mean, I salute you. Everyone just wants a free ride, and I can give the analysis, but I'm telling you right now, blindly copying me is not the solution. Use my analysis, see if it matches with your own, make your own decisions in this market. Absolutely lovely. Great stuff, Johns. Great stuff. There is no on sale in this market. There are things which perform well and which perform poor. Even from 40K, Bitcoin may lose another 50%. Yeah, it's possible, Gregor. Possible. Great work. Always enjoy your videos. Thank you, Darren Mitchell. I appreciate you, and I recognize your name as well. Thank you for tuning in to the live stream. I found you to be the most accurate in crypto community. Good on you. Thanks, my man. I have been saving a lot of time by not watching idiot YouTubers. Since I have been watching you, my account has been growing consistently. Really appreciate your calls. Love it, man. Absolutely love it. Love to read these kinds of comments. It makes me feel so good, and it makes me feel like I'm having a positive impact on you guys. You're too late to cut trades or take profits when you wait for others to tell you when to hit the button. Yeah. Well, in my community, I have like my take profit zones and things like that, right? And yeah, but again, like I said, it's so awesome when people can just make their own decisions, make money in this market, use my analysis. Like Luke Draco is saying right now, I use Metzir as another data indicator, and he helped me learn and also where to look. But at the end, it's my decision. Absolutely. You're trading with your own money. Guys, if you want access to the community, because Luke Draco's in there, Johns is in there as well, DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram to join. It is completely free. You're trading with your own money. You make your own decisions, but I just provide my analysis when I decide to take trades in this market and how I'm operating with my portfolio. So you sign up with any of these links down below, trade with your own money, and then you can get access to my group. So if that sounds interesting, you know where to find me. Right now, Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a decent move to the upside here, but it's simply because the stock market is. Like, I would literally just attribute it to that. How to join your community. It's the first link in my description down below. So if you DM me this keyword, you'll be able to join that private group. And all you have to do is sign up with any of these exchange links down below. I typically recommend Bluffin, and it's where I trade mostly. And then you get access to my group after you've deposited money that you're willing to trade with. And that's that. Ah. You talking about this? Bit of a little... I mean, we're kind of already above it, if that's what you're referring to, unless you're taking it from here. No, I don't know Frankie Candles. You guys asked me about him, I think, already on stream, but maybe I'll take a look if you guys keep mentioning him. But like I said, I don't really watch that many other crypto influencers, traders. No way you stumbled upon my Travella shot video. That's crazy, man. I can't believe it's still... Guys, I have a football TikTok if you didn't know. That's so funny. I haven't posted in a while, but... One thing I will say, guys, be careful with the 4-hour candles. The past two were in red there, and it's not uncommon for us to sweep the highs and potentially drop further because of this uncertainty within this candle. I am in a Zcash trade, and I am wondering if I should add to my position. Can you give a general rule of thumb or some wisdom on how to manage dollar cost averaging into a position? It firstly depends on how much you're already risking, right? But let's say, like, you have to have a predetermined amount of risk that you want on a trade before you enter the trade. So let's say you entered with 1% of your trading portfolio and price kind of moves against you, then it's okay to add another 1% to get your average cost down, but as long as you keep your strict invalidations. If you're already at max risk for a given trade and you are getting closer and closer to your invalidation, then in that scenario, it does not make sense to add to your position. Not financial advice. Wizior, wow, that's some great analysis. The stock market is pumping because of Pepe. Gemma Gov, I mean, I want to see crypto dump, like Matt said. It would mean a shorter bear market. I don't know why people are fighting it so much. I mean, bear markets will do this, right? You can spend a lot of time in an uptrend in a bear market, and then ultimately you just flush everyone out. So we'll just have to see. Sergio Angel, no, I did not. When trades are going great, you never feel like you have enough, and that's an emotion that you learn to manage um, over time. But when trades don't go your way, you'll be happy that you didn't size in with a ridiculous amount of your portfolio. How come you don't flash a flashy lifestyle, rather you keep it simple? Because I don't need to, right? Guys, the main thing that matters in life, especially as you start making a little bit more money, is friends and family. Like, I know it's I don't know if the right word is cringe, but some of you probably think that. Um, that's all that really matters. When you're on your deathbed, you don't think, "Man, I wish I had more money." All you really care about is the experiences and the memories that you created with your friends and family. And that's why, despite how long I'll be on the live stream and the trades and all that stuff, that's why I jumped into trading in the first place. It's a little bit of a trade-off early days when you're constantly monitoring the charts and looking at these things. But now I'm in a position where I can comfortably say that I can just enjoy my life, right? So, yeah, I have a couple of nice things. I don't really show it, but don't really need to. Like, if you guys really want me to show you a couple of things, I can, but I don't think it's something that is necessary, really. It's just not necessary. I really like to spend on restaurants. I'm a huge guy that just likes to go out and have a great dinner with my significant other, with friends, with family. I'm more than happy to spend money on a nice dining experience or experiences in general. So I hope I answered your question there. Um, we're we're getting above that 3 hour mark, just about. We're not getting much here, guys. I know some of you took the long right here. We swept the value area high again, trying to confirm it as support. So it is a significant level. I just would have preferred to see us come down to 75.5 because there's so much liquidity there. Maybe it was too optimistic or too greedy to try to enter there. But right now you can see we're still very much in the downtrend. Let's see if price can pop out of here or if we're going to get rejected and come back lower. I am ultimately still looking for longs. I'm holding my swing positions in this market overall. I'm still up around 50K on my Bitcoin short. I've realized around 300K. This is shared within my community as always. That's probably the extent of the flashing you'll see is when I talk about the trades that I'm in and the profits that I've realized. Yeah. Big 1 hour candle. Is that so? Yeah, that is a pretty solid 1 hour candle. Time for a reversal. Do you want to create some offline business, a physical place in the real world? It's funny you mentioned that because at some point I do want to do this. And I've heavily considered it, and I'll let you guys know when I do. But it actually has nothing to do with the crypto industry, Grigor. It has everything to do with uh, the guy that found my old TikTok account. It has to do with football, soccer. Honestly, that was low-key financial advice. What was financial advice? No, nothing is financial advice here, guys. Are you considering closing the scalp short completely and re-entering later? No. I've already taken a lot of profits off the scalp short. My stop loss is at break even. You guys know the drill. When it comes to my scalp shorts, sure, do I leave some profits on the table? Yeah, but if Bitcoin is to drop further into my confluence zone for the long, I'll just take more profits. but we've hit TP multiple times on this short. Guys, I shorted at $81,500. This was all live on the stream, and it was shared within my community. So I just moved my stop loss to break even. You can see here 81,486. So I'm just chilling. No stress. Oh, Crypto King as well. I do like spending money on my health and wellness. That is another thing. Legends, the price action is kind of just, we're here, haven't broken the highs above 77. We managed to tap into that value area high once more. Nothing has really changed. From my scalp short, all targets and everything are shared within my community, guys. If you want to see how I'm operating, you have the first link in the description down below. It is completely free. I share all of my trades, my targets, everything. You're trading with your own capital. Remember that. So I would highly recommend you sign up with any of these links down below. Make it your go-to exchange. Bluffin is my go-to. If you can't do Bluffin, there's 2-bit Velto weeks. And that's that. That's going to be a wrap on today's live stream. If you enjoyed the content, as always, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video.